Welcome back to the concession stand. I'm Marlon.
I'm Gabe.
Lolook at professionalism.
Look at us.
I forget my kush 1 week.
Well, wait, we're on.
And we're zinging, baby.
28-minute podcast.
We're going to be right through it. Like Adderall. This is our Adderall episode, by the way, if you're watching on YouTube.
50 minutes in. Wow. I think
consciousness.
we've talked about everything. Oh, look at us.
Efficiently.
In fact, we went back and covered all the other things that we forgot to talk about.
No rabbit holes.
Not a rabbit.
No side roads that we veer off on. But yeah, let's get into what we watched this week. Mm-hmm. I watched a couple things.
What'd you watch?
I watched Venom 2.
Oh, with the Thomas Hardy. How
Carnage.
Oh, with Woody.
Yes,
Harrelson.
Woody Harrelson. Yes.
I don't know why I was so surprised. Like I'm surprised I was remembering the people.
I didn't expect much because I didn't think the first movie was any good.
Sure.
And then I saw the reviews from people saying that it's just super shit, like even worse than you think.
This new one.
Oh,
damn.
And I was like, even with Carnage? Like Carnage?
And Woody Harrelson.
And Woody, I was all right. The pairing of Tom Hardy and Woody Harrelson.
That's a wild.
Who's in casting?
Algae Rhythm. That
can't be Algae Rhythm.
That's my nigga Don Cheadle.
Nah, that can't be Algae Rhythm.
He found out what the Marvel comic book people really deeply like, and they like weird white guys. And they're like, Algae Rhythm, give us 2 white guys.
No, I just shake them up. The magic 8 ball.
It's like a Yahtzee. What do we got?
I'm surprised that when they reimagined these superhero characters and just mutants and all this shit,
sure,
and they switch out the black characters when they make like a traditionally white character, a black character, and everybody outrages.
Oh my god!
It's usually like a good guy.
Yeah.
Why don't they just change it? Why don't they make black people the bad guys?
Why don't they just make them villains?
I don't think anyone's gonna complain.
No, heavens no. I mean. No,
and
I don't.
Therein lies the racism.
Therein lies the rub. My man said
That's
check.
the jig.
My man said check.
That's the jig. If we end up being the bad guys.
Black Joker, I want to see it.
It depends. I think it depends on the bad guy. Like, you can't make Magneto black.
You can't.
You can. Samuel L. Jackson as Magneto.
Isn't that just Mr. Glass? Is that not just Mr. Glass?
No, but he can fly, he can walk.
Sure. Okay.
His bones aren't brittle. He can attract metal, adamantium. The man's doing things. He's active.
Yes, they deserve to die, and I hope they burn in hell.
Yeah, that's what he says about the humans. That's what he says about the
does.
humans. He would remind me way more of Malcolm X than
Magneto.
Who's the guy who plays Magneto? He's incredible.
Which one, Michael Fassbender or Ian McKellen?
It's definitely not Michael Fassbender.
Michael Fassbender plays like the most recent one,
the
one we remember from like
Ian McKellen is the one I'm talking about.
He's a cold guy.
Fucking Gandalf. He's Gandalf, right?
He is.
Okay, I knew I wasn't off with that. He's an incredible actor.
He's tremendous.
There's he's in the magic movie. See Me Now? No, here.
Oh, Now You See Me?
Now You See Me?
Is he?
He's in that, isn't he?
I'm
Him and
gonna be honest with
Sam
you.
Jack?
No, Morgan Freeman.
Morgan Freeman. I knew it was an old black.
And Woody Harrelson.
I knew it was an old black.
An old Negro.
And Woody Harrelson. Look at full circle.
Well, I know. Well,
how do we keep doing this?
It's stream of consciousness. I'm telling you. Now we're in the zone now.
God damn. See what a good rabbit hole can do? Yeah, they're all in the same movie, that magic movie. Ian McKellen's the
is he?
Essentially the bad guy, but he seems like the good guy at the start. I'm pretty sure
I
he's
have
the
not
one
seen this movie. All I know is Jesse Eisenberg's in
or
it.
some shit. But anyways, yeah, Venom 2.
Oh, that's what we're talking about?
Venom 2.
Is Ian McKellen even in Venom 2?
No, absolutely not. He would never. Come on.
I'm sorry.
Come on. That's respect.
My fault. How dare I?
Tom Hardy, I should be saying that about too. Honestly,
Yeah, Tom Hardy. Why is he doing?
I don't
this?
understand why he signed up for this. It's not even.
He's
like,
a weirdo. My suspicion is Tom Hardy's a little bit.
It's not even
guy.
Marvel though. It's Sony. Like that's.
I just think he picks.
You're not in that position.
I just think he picks weird characters. I think he's just a weird dude.
He picks weird characters, but this is like. Does
This
he
is
have
way
kids
left.
or something?
Yeah, you think it's the kid angle?
As kids, see? You see? Whenever an actor makes these type of choices, it's the fucking kids. That's why Eddie Murphy did Daddy Daycare and all that shit.
But you're telling me Tom Hardy couldn't get into an actual Marvel movie?
When you're gonna do a movie for your kids, just get animated. They're
they're
hiring actors anyways.
And they're throwing money.
Don't ruin your likeness, possibly. Like, you know what I mean? Like, The Rock, lucky enough, is talented enough to get past the pacifier.
Sure.
You see what I'm saying?
No,
or was that Vin Diesel? Vin Diesel is not talented enough to get past the pacifier. And here we are. It's Fast and Furious 36.
And there it is.
And there it is. There's the proof.
But I suspect that, you're right, because like Hugh Jackman did like that Sasquatch movie, the animated one that got nominated for a fucking Oscar, but nobody saw it, and somehow he's like, yeah, it's fun. I heard
Hugh Jackman's a really great guy, by the way.
Hugh Jackman seems like the greatest guy.
Like, there are stories. You know, I thread of name a celebrity that you had a great encounter with. They were going to ham.
And he used to be like a high school teacher, and all his students are like, yeah, he was a great guy, like always help people out for homework.
Teacher?
Yeah, he was like that teacher.
Wow.
Just a gem.
The one that makes a profound difference in your life.
Then became Wolverine. And then Mr. Jackman's really fucking weird.
Your teacher at some concert. You see that video?
And then he's singing The Greatest Showman. You're like, oh, this guy's nuts. Just stick to teaching
Australia
bio,
will do that to you.
No, that checks out.
But yeah, no, Venom 2.
So yes or no on Venom 2?
It's a no.
So even you watched it.
I'll put it this way. I was gonna go watch it. Watch it at the drive-in. Oh, which highly recommend. Great movie experience. A friend of mine watched it the night before. Said they lost her 20 minutes in. What did I do? Showed up 30 minutes after the movie began.
Oh, you're like, let me at least give it the buffer.
Hey, said first 20 minutes of bullshit. What am I rushing for? What am I rushing? Get there.
What am I trying to run? What am I running to?
I don't give a shit. I just want to be at a drive-in.
How to do the thing.
Yeah, just want to be doing things. So I went, we watched it, and I think because we missed that first 30 minutes, the movie was substantially better.
Oh, really?
Substantially better.
You're like, oh, I'm just here for the action.
This is a 7 out of 10. For what I expected, this is the thing though. Remember, I'm expecting a 3. Low 3, 2.8. Like that's where I'm gunning for, right?
Missing the lead up to a movie usually ruins a movie.
I missed the plot building, the character development, backstory.
My man said I walked in and Carnage was already eating somebody.
I wasn't even invested, baby. Give me the action.
Niggas was fighting about something. You're like, man, I don't know.
They fighting. That's all I care about.
Wow, this action is great.
By the time I got there, he just got can I tell you?
Sure, I don't
doesn't really matter. Spoiler alert.
Spoiler.
He just bit Tom Hardy through the jail cell and like his hand. Right. Symbiote, obviously
doing the thing.
Attaches to Carnage. He turns into Carnage, and Carnage is a lot. There's the thing. This movie is more of a love story, like a rom-com, and it's a rom-com between Venom and Tom Hardy. So like
he learns to love the demon inside him.
Yeah, essentially, they learn to work together.
Are we sure that cocaine isn't making a comeback in Hollywood?
A comeback? When did it leave? You gotta leave to come back, baby.
You're not wrong. No, I mean like 80s level. Like, you know when they were pumping out movies? Lethal Weapon 5.
Listen, we'll know if Tom
Cobra with Sylvester Stallone. Like,
we'll know if, what's his name? What's Spider-Man's name again?
Peter Parker?
No, like the actual guy who's playing him.
I know. I'm buying time. Tom
Middlestone?
Holland.
Tom Holland.
There
I knew it was something English.
I was like, Tom.
I'm like Middlestone.
Tom Cambridge.
Periwinkle. I was going to go through them all.
Oxford to start naming the universities.
We'll know if he dies at 40. If cocaine's back like the 80s.
No, he seems like
he's out of here
like
by
a little
40.
Bit of a gem, though. He seems like he's...
He is a gem.
And he's with Zendaya.
In the 80s, everyone was a gem. John Belushi was a gem.
I don't think so. I think John Belushi was never a gem. That man was a stone. That was a hard rock of a man.
He's a rolling stone.
That was a rolling
Papa
stone.
Was a rolling stone.
Why are you singing it like it was Dock of
Civil
the Bay?
Rights? My bad. I'm sorry. That was very civil rights.
That was the Negro-ish Negro
That was a
anthem.
very civil rights note. It was very free us. It was giving free us for sure. Damn it.
What else did you watch this week?
Trauma. So yeah, Venom ended up being pretty good for what I expected. It's still horrible.
Sure.
CGI.
Garbage.
Oh,
so
yuck.
what did you like about it?
I liked the jokes. You know me.
It was good banter.
Yeah, the banter between and just the juxtaposition between Venom and some of the jokes that he's telling. It's like
so it feels
he goes to a party at one point and this is when he's like says fuck off to Tom and he finds other people to be Venom himself with.
Oh, that's hilarious.
And he goes to a party and like my owner did not like me. And everyone's like, yeah. He's like, but now I know who I am. Yeah. And he's like, through self-reflection and through all this other shit. It was very funny.
Okay, so that's positive.
Tom Hardy is not funny at all.
Oh, I would not peg him to be funny.
Not funny at all.
How did his voice sound?
Same.
Okay,
same,
the weird American
very weird
that he puts
Mark
on.
Wahlberg impression.
Oh.
It's,
Isn't that crazy that British actors probably use Mark Wahlberg as like
as the keynote?
Yeah.
As their keynote speaker.
Hey, so quick question for you as a casting director. Can you do an American accent? Yeah, I got a Mark Wahlberg impression.
Why do you sound like an uptight dorm? Like
that's it. Have you never met casting directors? That's exactly what they sound like. Hey there, quick question for you.
So breathy on the hey.
Hey there, quick question for you.
White people be so breathy on the H.
Why is it a quick question? It's a long question.
White people's H is the complete opposite of Jamaican H.
You mean non-existent?
Non-existent to heavy. Holy shit. I also watched the movie yesterday.
Oh, the one where the guy makes up the Beatles songs.
Yes.
Okay. How was that?
It's actually pretty good.
I never got around to that.
It's not bad. It reminded me of an old 90s movie.
Okay. It feels like
feels
that. You know
very
what? It
90s.
feels like a 90s
Freaky
movie
Friday-ish.
that got left on the shelf.
Bodies.
Right.
That whole thing.
And it's like, it's a guy about his self-reflection. And finally, when he figures it out, he's right back where he started. Yeah.
Wow, look at you.
Almost like I wrote it. Almost like we didn't sit through 70,000 of those movies.
That's exactly the movie.
2 decades.
It's incredible because, first of all, this is outright Beatles propaganda. Can we close that door? Outright Beatles propaganda.
I mean,
like it's reeking of it's crazy.
Somebody got the rights and they're like, we have to nail this.
I started thinking about like what artists would not affect the butterfly effect? Like which artists that you go
if they
back
just
in time
disappeared
and nobody knows, timeline variant stays exactly the same, doesn't move. I gotta go with Kesha.
If Kesha disappears altogether, I don't know, man. That TikTok song was pretty crazy.
That changed someone's life.
You know why? Here's my theory. Did TikTok come out before
TikTok? Yes.
I mean, that song, her famous "Wake Up in the Morning with a Bottle," whatever.
Yeah.
Did that come out before Lady Gaga?
No,
that was before. No. Okay, I take it all back.
You tried.
You know what?
You tried. That would have been a good angle.
I was like, wait a minute.
That would have been a good angle.
I think
let's double check. Let's double check.
You're like, you know what? I like the angle enough.
I like the angle enough. Let's
investigate.
TikTok. Wow, she actually spelled it like TikTok too.
I mean, more like TikTok. Spell it like.
You know what?
That's what it is. Without
2009.
her,
this might be real close.
Wait a minute.
This might be real close.
Lady Gaga came out 2010, 11.
Lady Gaga. What was her first song?
No, I'm still thinking
first
TikTok.
Single.
What was it? It was Disco
Just
Stick?
Dance.
Just Dance.
Early 2008.
All right.
Woo!
Okay, so
I knew it.
I take it all back.
That was close.
I'm not even a Kesha stan.
Kesha was almost responsible for the coming out of a lot of gay men. She almost changed thousands of gay lives.
She was the new Diana Ross? You're telling me I'm coming
Imagine being a year away from affecting the LGBTQ movement. You missed it by a hair.
She's just watching YouTube, just cries like, it could have been me. It could have been me.
Now you're clumped up with the party rock anthem.
Not Redfro.
Flow Rider.
Barry Gordy's
son.
Yuck.
Do you want to know what privilege is? That guy stopped a tennis game. A competitive, real life tournament tennis game to get in a few rounds. He cosplayed a tennis player
in
front of thousands of people.
I want to know how much money Barry Gordy has.
It's
that tells me that's crazy. That's
it's
absurd.
Nuts. It's nuts.
That's absurd.
It's nuts. It wasn't planned or anything.
And right, you know what? None of the clout goes to the guy. Fuck Redfro. All my clout goes to Barry Gordy.
Of course. He's riding off the coattails of his father.
That's crazy.
It's life. What else did I watch this week? Oh yeah, so yesterday movie was pretty good.
Okay.
Although I do think they should have done it with Michael Jackson. I think that would have been.
They can't afford the rights.
I know. Or Ja Rule, either or. It's a great movie.
That'd be hilarious. It's like Ja Rule discovering Do I Do. He's like,
he's gotta get the voice. None of the songs work until he does the voice. He's gotta catch laryngitis just to perform.
He's like, I don't know if I can perform. They're like, no, do it again on the mic again. What, talk like this?
He gets scouted for Cookie Monster instead. Complete trajectory of the world changes. Oh my God. I watched Burnt last night for the first time.
Burnt. Is that the Bradley Cooper movie?
Bradley Cooper.
Wow, I'm really good at guessing.
Yeah, you are on, on your shit.
Give me another one. Come on. I'm ready.
Have you watched it?
I haven't.
Wow,
none of these things. I just know it.
You should watch it.
I do love a good chef movie.
Hey, he's incredible. He's incredible, man.
I feel like you would like him. You like
these
niggas who got big egos.
I don't like okay, Wedding Crashers. Did not like him.
He's ruined.
He could have been replaced by any other white guy, I feel like, and it would have been.
But he was so good at being the worst type of white guy.
I think there would have been better. There's better. There's better.
Michael Fassbender.
Yeah,
Michael Fassbender.
It's always Michael Fassbender.
It's always Michael Fassbender.
That is the
if you need a dastardly white guy,
it's always Michael Fassbender.
Always Michael Fassbender. Always.
Yeah, no, he definitely could have done it.
If you need a toxic white man, it's Michael Fassbender. It is Michael Fassbender.
Daniel Day-Lewis.
Complete opposite, non-toxic white guy.
But yeah, no, he's really good, man. Like really, this especially for this movie. Wow,
it was strong, yeah.
It looks like he was an apprentice for a chef. Yeah, it's a drama.
Okay.
It looks like he was an apprentice for a chef for like a year before this.
Oh, he was like, I'm in. Oh, he's working.
The fluidity of his movements. It's like how I don't believe anyone could watch that movie and not think Bradley Cooper cannot cook.
Interesting.
It's impossible.
Interesting.
He's good.
You know who else?
He did this one scene. I'll show you. I set up this one scene. Does this one scene where it's like he's trying to get his Michelin star, right?
Okay.
And so everything's on the line for this. He just got his ass kicked, and now he's got to deal with.
Now he's got to
Michelin star.
Like literally got his ass kicked. Like somebody beat him up.
Yeah.
Okay.
He owes someone money. They kicked his ass.
That sounds about right.
That
seems like a Bradley Cooper plot. Somebody, I owe somebody money, but I'm also a chef.
It's very Bradley.
I'm a great gambler, but I'm also a chef.
He's always running from someone.
Always
right?
running from somebody.
With the pill.
Limitless.
He's running away. He's owing somebody money. He's
always.
Very
Why is he always?
He's always in debt. At some point, that's his motivation.
He's always in debt.
He's always in debt.
The Hangover. He's maybe in debt.
He was at one point.
Yeah, there it is.
Wow, a theme. So he basically he's got to get his Michelin star, and they bring the stuff. You know when the head chef is plating.
Yes.
The final final placement of the food or whatever.
Little rag and he's cleaning off the dish.
They bring it over, and there's like a sauce or two set up, a bunch of plates, and he's plating, and without looking, while plating, he puts his finger at the top of the sauce over here
and tastes it
while
he's plating.
And I'm like,
oh, this MF practicing. No, this nigga practicing.
Dog.
This nigga in his zone.
I said, dog. This is me and my girlfriend at the same time. We're like,
nah, that's cool as shit.
That's really dope. Like, yeah, no, he embodied it fully. And there's a lot of great actors in this. Let me pull up the cast.
Yeah,
and I'm really surprised you haven't watched this movie. This is really right up your alley.
It's been on my radar, and it's one of those ones that I always forget by the time I'm like, is it time for me to watch a movie?
2015.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a long time.
Our boy Lupe,
Omar Sy, my nigga.
I think that's one of his earliest showings in an American movie.
Oh, Daniel Brühl.
And he speaks French in it through the whole time. Doesn't even change it.
Emma Thompson's in it? Oh, shit.
Emma Thompson, Uma Thurman.
Big Ooms?
Yep. You got a lot of really great actors. And everybody's strong performance all the way out. Sienna Miller does a great performance.
I do like Sienna Miller.
Yeah. You got a little plot twist. You got like drama, high stakes. They reinforce the stake. I love a movie that starts off high stakes presented and then keep reinforcing
this is what we're doing.
stakes.
This is what the point of this movie is.
Keep reinforcing it. Build
thing.
build it up. So I'm like invested. And they did it through and through. Really great movie, man. Really good. Probably one of the
better ones you've seen.
One of the better chef movies I've seen.
Have you seen the movie Chef?
I saw the first half of it and fell asleep because I started like.
It's a very like quiet movie.
Yeah,
but it's like
3 a.m. though.
It almost feels like it's a Disney movie, but
Chef.
it's
Who directed that again? He's an actor that I love.
It's Jon Favreau.
Jon Favreau.
He looks like. Speaking of guys who did the Chef, like this MF, not like, you know, when guys who play chefs, they try to look extra sexy and whatnot. Yeah. No, this guy looks like every guy that I've ever worked with in a kitchen. Yeah. Like he looks very capable, but also like I love eating food, but also I'm not really paying attention to my kid. And I'm like, this is the guy.
That's Bradley Cooper through and through on this. Arrogance, the yelling, the
berating.
When he yells at these people in the kitchen, I get fucking triggered.
I the trauma, the flashbacks, the war
being
flashbacks.
In the fucking kitchen doing dishes and hearing these guys getting reamed out over the smallest things. You're supposed to be fucking 2 millimeters.
Listen, I'm be honest.
2 fucking millimeters.
I'm gonna be honest with you. In my time working in kitchens, my very brief 2-year stint.
2-year stint.
Listen. I hear yelling in some places, and I like my defense.
Tense up?
Not even like my fight or flight tenses up, and I'm like, "What? Why are my?" And I'm not a big energy of that. When I hear that like very specific type of anal retentive yelling, I'm like,
anybody ever walk behind you and say behind?
Yep, all the time. I still do it.
I do it to my girl.
Right behind you.
Because she's a culinary. She went to culinary school and shit. So I'm just like, behind. Hot. Saying all the words. Wow, what a cast in this Chef movie too, right? Oh, Sofia Vergara.
In Chef, yeah. John Leguizamo's in it.
Robert Downey Jr. Wow.
Robert Downey Jr. is in it for a quick second.
Roy Choi. Bobby Cannavale.
Love
Cannavale.
Love Bobby Cannavale. He plays a really good
Dustin Hoffman?
Yeah, he plays.
Oliver Platt?
My nigga Oliver Platt.
Russell Peters? What's happening in this movie?
Yeah, because he plays a chef in Hollywood.
Amy Sedaris? Yo, this movie is actually pretty fucking lit.
It's really, really good. And then like
you can't lose with this cast.
And him and his son start making sandwiches. Like it's really, really good. Like it's very, very good. Scarlett Johansson's in it.
That's crazy. I still haven't seen that show, Strangers with Candy, with Amy Sedaris. And,
yes.
And your man Ted Lasso.
Yes. Sudeikis.
Fuck. Yeah, no.
Very much worth it.
So much to watch, man. Speaking of which, Godfather 1. Watched it. Good stuff.
That was the most underselling of maybe one of the best films of all time.
That's a lie.
Really?
It's not one of the best films of all time.
Godfather 1 is not one of the best films.
Absolutely not.
Really?
Not even close.
Really?
I would never fucking put
that. Is it because
I put Scarface above that easily.
Okay, now
a lot of movies actually above that.
No, you wouldn't. There's no reason to put Scarface. Like the
No, there's reasons.
So is it because is it too long for you? Is it the story?
No, it's not too long.
You need to watch it like 2 more times. And then
no, I don't.
Really? Yeah, you do. No. Like
no,
I don't. It's a very dense film.
I don't need to watch it more, honestly.
Is it because you know everything that happens, so you're like, I don't need to rehash this?
I could replay the whole movie in my head in like 10 seconds. It's really not. No.
Really?
I mean, some of the things
Hey, folks,
cool.
This might be the last episode of the Concessions.
This is the thing, right? Like, it's not like a bad movie at all. I'm not saying it's a bad movie. I'm just saying it's not as great as I thought people like. Really? The way people rave
so
about
what,
this.
What
about it is the greatness to you? Let me ask you that.
The changing of a character, like the actual character arc. This is like the peak of a character's development throughout a film. Michael.
Okay.
So Michael coming in as like, I would never be in the family business. He is as Americanized in the family as it gets. He is not supposed to be in the family business, and it starts that way. Yeah. But how it eventually devolves into him being the most lethal family member in the group because of circumstance and whatnot, and his ability to listen to his father, but kind of be very different. Like he lacks the nurturing aspect of his father, which is very apparent. How that arc develops is very interesting. The character, like the acting,
I felt like it was
really
unnatural.
That's the point. It is supposed to feel like this is a guy put into a position that he does not want to do, and why he's so
unnatural
callous.
in terms of like yeah, people died in his family, and I understand that, but I feel like it's not out of the realm of possibility that regardless of how he felt about not entering the family business, if somebody in your family dies, I'm in the family business now. It's like there's no,
but the whole thing of it was that even the fact that he took over, even the father was like, this is still not the right option. Like, this is still not, Don Corleone is like, this is still not the best option on the table.
I don't think he thought any of his kids were the right option.
Sonny is the natural successor. Sonny is the more aggressive one, although he knows that my children tend to speak when they should listen. He says this often.
Sonny is
James Caan. He's the guy who gets shot up with the curly hair.
Yeah, the one that's fucking on his wife, right?
Yeah.
So, no, could never lead.
Well,
never.
I agree.
You think
None
Don
of them
thought he could lead? For real?
Don kind of, he's going to be around for as long as he needs he's trying to develop him into a leader.
He's trying to develop him, but look how long, he's much older than Michael, right?
Yeah.
So then that means he's been being groomed much longer.
The whole time.
And he's still not ready, as you can see from the start of the movie.
Because all of the kids, we can do a whole case study on that. I love The Godfather. Anyways, all of the sons embody an aspect of the Don, right?
Yeah.
Like Sonny is his temper, like his ability to be like take it there.
Yeah.
Michael,
the discernment.
Michael is the chess player.
Yeah, he could discern very well. Like he knows
the reading of people.
Yeah,
the understanding of situations.
Yeah.
The understanding of the gamesmanship of it. And then Fredo is his heart. The kindness. Okay. Don't worry about it. It's okay. We'll figure it out. I understand. I appreciate what's going on. Besides the character, the way they light everything is always so dark because it's supposed to be dark. The way the mom is almost never present until she speaks, and it's always a little interesting when she says something because she carries weight.
Yeah.
The fact that nobody pays attention to the sister, and she's really the linchpin. Like, what happens to her is really the catalyst for the whole story. When Michael realizes that he's actually a little bit more callous when he goes to protect his dad, and he realizes a normal guy is shaking when guys are coming with guns, and he's like, give me the cigarette, I'll light it for you. And he realizes, and he looks at the thing, and he's like, oh, fuck, I'm very fine with all of this. And he's like, oh, I think I'm ready.
Well, he was a soldier, no?
He is a soldier, but he realizes he never put the idea of being an American soldier and the Cosa Nostra, which is, the mob, he never put those things together. And none of them did. And he's like, oh, this is the same thing.
It's the same shit.
This is easy.
Yeah. With me, I'll give it its flowers with this. The look and overall feel of the movie, you'd be surprised when you look at the date of when it came out.
It's a very modern film.
Modern looking film, modern feeling film for something that came out in the early 70s, right?
Yeah.
I'll give it that. I'll give it the fact that obviously you have a powerhouse cast of actors.
Absurd.
You have Al Pacino coming out the gate just firing.
How can I forget Tom Hagen?
Yeah.
The Consig.
Yeah.
And all the red. Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Really? No, not for you. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something, my Kraut friend.
You know what the thing is? I think because it's such a pioneer of its kind, I've seen it repeated not only better, but because it was the first, right? So now you get so much opportunities to make something of the same ilk, just a bit better every single time. I've seen a lot of this done better in Snowfall. I've seen a lot of the
game, right? No, I can see what you're saying, like how these things develop.
The plot
into
twist, the chess moves, all that stuff. I've seen it make me feel
those things
way more excited in Breaking Bad when I'm seeing a character change from a guy that was a science teacher into a drug lord. See what I'm saying? Like You've seen what the arc looks like in people, and you're like, okay, I get what's being done here. But I can appreciate the fact that this is probably one of the first movies that made you root for the bad guys. Yeah, essentially, because even no matter what, at the end of the day, even if they're the mob and you're rooting for this family, they're fucked. They're racist. They peddle drugs into the black community on purpose. Sure, yeah. all
it's terrible.
types of shit.
It's all terrible.
But yeah, there's
don't
so
you
much
love-
glaring
but
stuff
don't
in this
you-
movie that's like trash. Like when Sonny beats that guy up in the street. It's the worst fighting scene I've ever seen in my life. Like in any movie.
There's worse.
Name it.
There's worse.
Name it.
Anything with
Name
Steven
it.
Seagal.
No. Nope. He's cracking. He's breaking legs.
I love Steven Seagal. Like
He's breaking legs.
I am debatably
He's touching them.
One of the biggest
Sonny
Steven
was
Seagal.
swinging like this. This is the mic, people. This is the guy, all right? This is Sonny.
I agree. There's things in there that are obviously dated, like fight scene. Like it wasn't shot to be a fight scene.
It was bad. It was bad.
Don't
There's a lot of scenes in Italy that should have been cut.
when they go back to Italy.
Yeah, there's some
When
scenes
he's with
there.
Apolloni, no, but that's the whole thing. He's supposed
No,
to.
I'm saying there's scenes
In
in
the Italy
that don't need to be there.
Right.
Why are we doing this?
Sure.
I love the twist, which of the guy turning on them and blowing up the love that. That was great. But how many times have I seen the car blown up? You think I didn't know the car was blowing up when he's going all around asking where's Apollonia?
Yeah.
I knew Apollonia is either dead or someone's getting set up right now. So it's not the movie's fault that I've seen
all of these
all
things
the
done before.
copycats.
You know what to your point, I watched Citizen Kane years and years ago, and then before that Mank movie came out around Christmas time, I rewatched Citizen Kane, and I was like, I think this is really brilliant because you have to view it from 1977 or 1972 eyes, or Citizen Kane 1930
And sometimes it's
something.
difficult.
It is very difficult, but then you appreciate, this is nuts because everybody else got it from this.
Yeah.
This is nuts because everything.
That I look at Godfather like a sample from a Kanye track.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? I look at him like, okay, dope. That's the real original OG shit. Look how many songs have sampled this
from
one
this.
song.
It is
incredible.
the James Brown Funky Drummer.
However, listening to James Brown Funky Drummer,
You're like,
I
man.
can't fully embrace it.
You're like, this can't go off at a club like this.
I can't fully embrace it because it's like a lot of music, especially if we're going to draw that parallel. There's so much music references in hip hop alone. Do you know how many people are revered as hip hop legends that I would love to indulge in their music? But when I do, I don't understand half the references because the music isn't timeless. It's for that moment.
I agree.
And so this movie, it's just got too much copycats that I've seen evolve that genre.
Out of that, right.
And for me to be like, whoa, but I can appreciate that it was probably one of the first.
Yeah, I mean, it's a beautiful film about family and what people have to be drawn to do, how people change, whatnot. Godfather Part 2 is my personal favorite.
Everybody's personal favorite. Godfather Part 3 came out 16 years later. I don't know who thought that was a good idea.
And it was disgusting. It's a
Matrix is basically doing
I think
that right
you know
now.
what? I think you would like Godfather Part 3 though. Not that because it is drastically different.
I
than
might
literally-
like it because
than
I'm so
anything.
detached from the timing of
it is,
everything.
It is literally different from all of the other just mob movies in general. Like it's such a very strange.
Came out in 1990.
Yeah, it was terrible.
Godfather Part 2 came out 2 years after the first one.
Yeah, I think they filmed most of it like almost back to back.
Yeah.
And it's Bobby De Niro, just like an absolute legendary performance. I think if you have the time to do a whole.
Robert De Niro's in this?
In Godfather Part 2, yeah, he plays young Don Corleone.
Sick.
Young Vito.
Sick.
It's really good. And they do side by side, so like part of the movie will be Michael at that current time, and then they'll like mirror it with what Don was doing as he was coming to America.
Sick.
Great.
That's why it starts
And like the
off
best
like
performance
that.
between
Because I'm like, why is it
Fredo
starting
and-
off in Italy and like back in the day? Like we're jumping backwards.
No,
Interesting.
The Godfather Part 2, and
So it's a prequel mixed with
the modern.
Okay.
And not even, it is very much that. And then there's a point where the character development between Fredo and Michael gets to a certain point, and it's just the intrigue, like the stress of the tension in between two brothers, especially one that's just not smart but is making a lot of poor choices. It's so the whole movie you're like, oh, this is palpable. I can feel it.
Okay.
Oh, it's very good. Oh my
Very
gosh.
nice. And I love the moment when he's at the christening, and
It's one of the best scenes of all time.
he's taking out the 5 heads of the families.
Do you denounce Satan? Bah!
It's been done better. I'm sorry.
All right.
It has.
Let's move on. Anyway, so
When Walter White made the call
this is such a zag from you.
And
Like this
took
is such
out
a
every
this is such a
single
bit.
one of
You're
Mike's guys.
You're doing such a fucking bit right now.
It was fucking incredible.
I'm trying so hard.
Ooh,
I'm
the
trying.
Paizones.
Speaking of mob movies, you haven't watched The Sopranos, which is another just depressing thing to see. But that being said, they have made a prequel movie. Speaking of prequels, The Many Saints.
James Gandolfini.
Yeah, his son, as a matter of fact. Matthew Gandolfini.
Good actor?
He's actually surprisingly good. For a guy who's never acted before, like a strong performance.
Hereditary.
And he does a certain thing where you can tell that he takes on certain mannerisms of a young guy who's trying to be big, like trying to like, yeah, I'm kind of tough.
Yeah.
I hang around with tough people, but just doesn't quite know how to, like, being sure-footed. Like, yeah, I don't know how to do it, but I think I'm doing it. Like, it does. He does a very interesting job. It's a terrible movie. Fuck. Oh my God. Did not need to happen. Very disappointed.
I felt like when
Christ.
I saw it.
Oh my God. I got there. Me and my brethren, we were excited. We're big Sopranos fans. We had all the bits and the lines. We're like, yo, I wonder what Liv Soprano's going to sound like. Boom, boom, boom. We sat down and it opens with a voice of a character who has now passed away. And we're like, interesting. All right, let's see where it goes. And about like 30 minutes into the movie, a character dies. And then like 5 minutes later, they're like, this guy's got a twin. We're like, what the fuck is going on? Because clearly they just wanted to make sure this character maintained a paycheck.
This is why you can't do movies 10 plus years later.
It was bad.
Last episode of Sopranos, June 10th, 2007.
I don't even think it's that. This is not even about.
I think it's that.
No, this is an issue with TV writers thinking they can write movie scripts.
That too. Because Entourage, same shit. Sopranos, same shit. What's that? Oh God, I'm gonna forget.
Sounds like 3 words.
Don't do that. What was the?
It's a movie. First word, the.
It's usually the. It's usually the. There's another movie that they did not need to make. That was
for a TV show.
Yeah, that was years later.
The Miami Vice movie.
Can't remember it, but Bad Boys is another one. I get, but that was originally a movie.
Bad Boys is a movie.
They still didn't need to make Bad Boys 3. But yeah, just trying to tap into this nostalgia.
Well, you know what? It's a quite the currency. Reboots and remakes are just obviously what they're peddling these days. And on paper, there's enough characters that are referenced in the show that they never really. There's like, this guy's really important, and they only mention the person, but you never see
they just try
what
to give
story
you a
is.
little Easter egg here and there.
Yeah, it would be interesting to see what that actually means to these people's life.
And how it changes.
There's actually a story to be told. This movie's problem is they introduce something and they're like, all right, and we're moving on. They introduce something like, all right, and we're moving. Much like a TV writer would do, like, we're gonna get to. It's 3 movies. No, it's lazy. I don't think there's a lot of intention for how they build a storyline. There's like characters, like, it's also, besides being the mob, there's also a character development. There's a story arc about the Newark riots, the race riots in Newark, New Jersey. That gets mentioned, but it doesn't really have anything fundamentally to do.
It's like, there's niggas over there.
Because it is all because
moving right along.
Niggas is coming up in the world. Fucking
those
moons. Joey Diaz is in the movie. Joey Diaz is sitting at the table, and the black character comes in, and he's like, "Whoa, white flight!" And he starts tiptoeing away. I'm like, that's a great throwaway joke. What was the point? Guy just picks up some money, disappeared. Yeah, Joey Diaz. Like, they waste so many interesting guys in this movie.
What the fuck?
It's terrible. I was so sad.
Yeah, no, I won't be indulgent.
Because, and not only the major issue, again, because they introduced a lot of interesting things and they just never paid off.
Oh, well. Sopranos, I will be watching.
The woman in the movie is
check out the
gorgeous.
series.
God bless her.
For sure.
Straight from Italy.
Is it one of those that have a bad last season?
No,
last episode?
The last episode is up to conjecture. I think it's fine.
Last episodes might be the most difficult episode of any TV show.
But it's not bad. Like, it ends the way it should end.
No, I'm just talking about in general. For most TV shows.
It's very hard to end a TV show. The only way you end a TV show properly is if you know how you're going to end it 2 seasons before you do it.
Is it? What ending to a TV show can you name that was good?
House. House is really good.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Why?
Because he does this. It was a very interesting thing of he ends up being a very good friend to Wilson, and he does it because everybody thinks he's dead. Not to fucking spoil it. I mean, if you didn't watch House in 13 years, I mean, that's on your... But
like his legs, did he find a cure for his leg?
No. He gets high, like really high, because he's bad. Like his friend's dying of cancer. He gets high, couldn't cope, and he's going to score, and the house is burning down. He's having like a hallucination, and when they think he's there, they think he's dead. So it's like a funeral, and everybody think he's dead, and then Wilson gets a call, and it says House, and he's like, "What the fuck?" And House is like, Yeah, I was never there. I was never there. And then they flash back, and he's like, yeah, I got out well before. And then the house blows up, and they just show you it's a time. They mess around with time when they show you it.
But does it like make sense when it
does, because then he gets to spend all his time with Wilson.
Was
Wilson
it cheating? I mean,
the whole,
did he get out of the house with cheating?
They show it enough to be like it's plausible, but the whole
I don't like that.
I don't know if you've ever seen House, but
I love House.
None of the fucking show is plausible.
Touche.
So this is very on brand for what they were trying to do, and it pays off well because now he gets to make sure that his friend who is dying gets to actually have a supportive friend.
How do TV shows specifically, that there's a sudden realization in the final 5 minutes of the show, how do they keep staying on TV? Like, and they always work. Grey's Anatomy, ER.
People love bullshit.
House.
I don't know if you understand. People love ridiculous.
It's
There's
incredible
Chicago
the amount
Med
of people, the amount that people will allow certain shows and movies to get away with, but not other shows and movies. Like Fast and Furious is another one of those dog shit.
Yeah, but they'll never let James Bond do that.
Never. It's got to make sense, even though this is a fucking spy with guns and lasers in his fucking headlights. It's got to make sense.
For some reason, there's like these lines of division where they're like, if you decide to be fucking ridiculous, you got to stay ridiculous. If you decide to be try a little bit to make sense,
it's all in the color grading.
Ooh, when it's all super vibrant, you're like, this is some bullshit.
If it's a blue tint over it,
when it's a Michael Bay classic,
I'm taking this seriously,
Michael
Bay
classic. No, when it's a blue tint with like the solar flares and the thing.
Oh, with the solar flares.
When you know,
no, come on. Yeah, no, this is bullshit. Yeah,
all right,
that's what we're doing. Fucking pop song.
Or when it's the yellow tint, like when they're in another country, they're like, no.
If the movie starts off with a fucking overview drone shot of the city with the pop song montage, just give it a rest. Just pack it up.
Stop watching.
Speaking of pack it up, Netflix walking out. 1,000 segue.
Well done.
The way is segging.
The way is segging.
Netflix walk out. 1,000 people walking out of the job at Netflix over Dave Chappelle's special. In other words, 1,000 new jobs are now available at Netflix.
But why?
And I'm pretty sure they will fill them, but within the hour.
I'm sure they're maybe already filled. Don't they? I mean, if they have a union, that's a different conversation. But my question is, why?
Because Dave Chappelle made fun of transgender people. Gabe, come on.
I mean, if they really want to do the Googles, there's a few of those motherfuckers that they have paid money for a Netflix special that has also actually more heavy-handedly made fun of transgendered people.
Well, the CEO of Netflix.
And it was all fun and games when Tom Segura is making fun of niggas. It's all fun and games when that happens, but all of a sudden,
hey man.
Although I love Tom Segura, I'm a fan of Tom Segura. I'm just saying, by the rationale,
hey,
the math
call
don't
spade a spade.
Math.
Gotta call spade a spade
because the spades are black. I see what you did there.
You did it, but I'll take it. CEO of Netflix says, we know that a number of you have been left angry, disappointed, and hurt by our decision to put Dave Chappelle's latest special on Netflix. With the closure, we understand that the concern is not about offensive to some content, but titles which could increase real-world harm, such as further marginalizing already marginalized group, hate, violence, etc. Last year, we heard similar concerns about 365 days and violence against women. While some employees disagree, we have a strong belief that content on screen doesn't directly translate to real-world harm. The strongest evidence to support this is that violence on screens has grown hugely over the last 30 years, especially with first-party shooter games, and yet violent crime has fallen significantly in many countries. Adults can watch violence, assault, and abuse, or enjoy shocking stand-up comedy without it causing them to harm others.
It's true.
In other words, you're a grown fucking person. All right?
I agree.
Make your choices.
Now to
the TV does not make your choices.
No, but to play a little bit of advocate for their points, because I understand where they're coming from if they felt strongly enough, is that they don't want to work for a company that supports something that they feel is wrong.
Which they don't have to.
Which I agree. I understand.
I completely agree.
And if they
quit. The fact that how many companies can you point to that have transgender employees?
I wouldn't know what their staffing is, but who knows? It could be fewer than we'd like to appreciate.
I can ask you about men and women, black, white, Latino, Asian, and you can tell me that this business has it, this business has this business. The fact that there are enough transgender employees employed within Netflix that they can organize something of this magnitude.
It almost speaks volumes.
Speaks volumes about that type of company you're working for.
I say that's pretty good.
That's like a pretty good company, it would seem, in terms of inclusion and sticking up for marginalized communities.
Right.
The same people who are saying there are not enough positions of power are giving the position of power of a showrunner to one of the shows that they kept on to and canceled others for.
Correct.
So
that's a good point. That's a good point.
If they're not sticking up for these marginalized communities, how can you explain positions of power, employees, jobs filled up? Like, I can't really be like Netflix is the bad guy here. Realistically, they are the aggregator. They're the middleman to content. They don't create all of this content, but some of that they do. And at the same time, they have to appeal to a wide demographic of people, which is the world.
Sure.
You are not the world. If we're talking percentages, if we want to go to brass tacks, like
if a company, if they really wanted to be a super antagonist, they could be like, yeah, too bad, so sad, you're outvoted. They could do that.
Realistically, that's what's happening. Well, it's a business at the end of the day.
They're like, they're still bums in seats right now, guys. I'm sorry.
The amount of people that love Dave Chappelle, the amount of people that love stand-up comedy.
I wouldn't even say necessarily have to love Dave Chappelle. I think enough people just really appreciate that stand-up. They just, for the...
No, but I'm saying if you group together those two...
Oh, all of the people that watched it? Oh, yeah. Or continue to watch it?
You're far outnumbered. And not to mention... If you take into account, I would love for somebody to go through the special and name every marginalized group that Dave Chappelle made fun of. Because it includes black.
Oh, yeah.
By the way.
Big time.
You know how black bitches are.
Oh, yeah.
You hear any black bitches, quote unquote, saying cancel this movie because it's making fun of me.
Because there's a context. There's a context to the conversation. But back to his first point is I would be interested to see the demographic of the folks who are walking out and what their racial background is. Mm-hmm. And I'd be, not to say that it's only a racial thing, not to say that,
I'd be remiss to think if it wasn't a paler hue from an overview. If I was a drone shot,
I would be,
and I was looking down,
I would be shocked, confused, taken aback.
Dismayed.
Mine
led astray. Bamboozled. Run amok. Oh! Run amok.
Not a hoodwinked.
Hoodwinked! These are great. We should work for Thesaurus. Oh, man. We should actually work for Thesaurus.
Malcolm should have worked for Thesaurus.
So it's like, yeah. I don't know.
I just, what maybe to put a rounder point on this is, I find it interesting that people felt the need to walk out on this particular special, especially from my viewpoint from it. It seemed like, again, it was very in kind. He was apologizing and also clarifying his issue with people who think that he has an issue with the community. I thought it was very clear.
Yeah.
I find it interesting that this is the one that they have an issue with, and this is the comedian that they have the issue with, when a little guy named Joe Rogan has a few specials whom other people have issue with. Spotify tried, a number of Spotify employees thought about walking out. They did not.
Obviously.
So I just
wonder why.
I find it interesting. I find the whole situation rather interesting.
It's pretty interesting how they pick and choose. Yeah, Joe Rogan is so funny. I saw a video with Joe Rogan the other day, and it's a compilation of, I cannot remember the fucking actor, comedian. He's a stand-up comedian, but he's also an actor. He's in Arrested Development.
Oh, Jason Bateman?
No.
Jeffrey Tambor.
Oh, God. I'm not going to remember him.
The guy who plays Lego Batman. William Arnett.
I don't know any of the names.
He's in Arrested Development. I feel like I named all the guys.
Arrested Development?
Oh, what's his face? The guy with the mustache?
No.
Okay, I'm done.
Yeah, he's not even Arrested Development. All right, well,
thanks.
But yeah, there's an actor that slash comedian that is on Rogan's podcast, and he's talking about how much he hates actors that comedians that move around a lot on stage and do a lot on stage. He's like, the more you do, the less I think you're funny.
I fundamentally
and
disagree.
In between that, they're showing clips of
all
Rogan,
of Joe Rogan doing all the things.
Sitting there like, yeah,
for sure. Yeah, absolutely.
And he's like stool fucking. And they show a clip of Charlemagne and Andrew Schultz on Rogan's podcast, and Charlemagne saying, I'm on record. I hate stool fucking comedians. Like, I hate it.
Blasphemous.
That's the worst type of comedy.
And then they cut to Joe Rogan
and you just cut to Rogan. There's like 17 clips of this guy fucking a stool, bro. There's like, and then you go back to Rogan. Rogan's like, for sure. No, stool fucking could be funny, bro. Stool fucking.
No, man.
Charlemagne's like, really?
Nah.
And he's like, no, yeah. If you can give the audience a good enough reason why you're fucking that stool.
That's a good. I was like, why is that? First of all, there's a handful of comedians that can fuck a stool. And
dog, it was bad.
Cat Williams is the top of that list.
Of course.
The things Cat Williams has done with a stool.
Arnaz J, come on. Arnaz J is probably the best with a stool.
You're not a big Chris Rock guy, are you?
Yeah, I like Chris Rock. Yeah.
Chris Rock is the patented guy who, you know what he always says about moving around on stage? He's like, it forces you to focus on me. Because he's like, you can look down and look up and now I'm missing on stage.
But he more so just paces, moving back and forth. I can't believe. But fucking Joe Rogan is like.
Why is that the term?
Like they're showing clips of him just screaming.
No, he's nuts. He's a gorilla. He's absurd.
Yeah, no, he's actually.
Do you find Joe Rogan funny?
No, not at all. I think he's funnier on his podcast.
I had to check because you didn't like The Godfather, so suddenly have to check everything that I believe.
I think he's funnier on his podcast than he is in stand up, but even then, it's few and far between. He's never funnier than his guest.
No.
You know what I mean?
I had to stop watching Joe Rogan. I was never a big Joe Rogan person ever. Like, I just thought he would have an. I like his sports commentating. His sports commentating stuff. His fight commentary after the Tyson Fury Deontay Wilder fight. I thought that was his sport commentary.
The one thing that I can respect is he
just
gets
everything else
into the communities he wants to be a part of.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean.
He will embed
down
himself.
to Texas because that's his tribe. He fucking UFC. That's his tribe. He was already fighting
himself in
comedy. Now that's his tribe.
The tech people.
He's getting in there with everyone, man. So, yeah, that was really funny, though, just seeing that fucking clip.
That's hilarious.
Compilation. Speaking of funny, Kim K, SNL.
You know what? I was so pleasantly surprised.
Surprisingly good performance by Miss Kim K.
Do you think, you think it was Writer's Room that helped that? Or do you think that was...
Yeah.
I think that was better than Writer's Room. A little bit better. I think
it was easier. It was easier to write as opposed to what they usually write.
Yeah,
because of who it is.
Well, I think she came in saying, "Guys, I want to be self-deprecating."
I don't think she said that. I think she just said, "I'm with whatever. Just go ahead."
And man said the file. They're like,
really?
Are you sure?
Are you sure?
Because. Realistically, I have this joke about all your sisters trying to look like you with all the Botox.
Bro, if you just let somebody else say all this stuff, it's a roast. And it's a pretty good roast.
The movie premiere, and at least my mom didn't know. That's really funny. There's a lot of good bits there.
And I will give her props. I've had jokes written for me, and it didn't go over well because they're not my jokes.
You didn't believe in it.
I didn't. And with her, she delivered well. There's something to be said about writing and what that can do, but your delivery,
it's all about your delivery.
That's the meat and potatoes.
She was invested. She was like, this is gonna be funny. What do I have to sell?
Yeah,
everybody's in on the joke.
It's hard to be funny in bright pink as well.
With the gloves and everything.
With the gloves. When you do comedy, they usually tell you tone it down. Very minimal.
And she's like, fuck it, I'm in there. But she in herself as a presence is the the lightning rod of like, okay, whatever the fuck this person.
Yeah, I guess you kind of expect her to be over the top, so it's not really too.
And the barrier, the bar is very low for her to be funny, right? So it's like,
and not to mention what show you're on. It hasn't been funny for quite some time.
Low bar.
The bar goes even lower.
She opened up with a good joke. You're like, okay, I'm in.
Yeah, I was like, I'm invested.
All right, cool.
Yeah, she held it down. I didn't see any of the skits.
Nope,
because I was afraid to ruin it.
No,
for her.
I kind of saw a little bit of the Bachelor one.
I saw a clip of it, a picture of it, and I said, nope.
I just laughed because like the guys that they assembled, and I'm like, this is just a really funny assembling of
Who was those people they assembled?
Blake Griffin, Chris Rock.
Blake
one
Griffin
of the guys
was on there, or like someone playing Blake Griffin.
No, Blake G.
Wow.
Now he's in Brooklyn, and he's he hangs out with comedians. So he is.
Oh yeah, he's trying.
He is going to try to get on SNL as many times as possible.
Yeah. With Tyler, who else? With Tyler Cameron, Blake Griffin. I don't know who Tyler Cameron is. John Cena.
Yeah.
John Cena was on there. Actually,
funny. Yeah.
Jesse Williams.
Jesse Williams was on there. Yes, he was. And
Chris Rock.
Chris Rock was there. Yeah.
That's an all-star cast.
It was very funny.
Amy Schumer.
I don't remember Amy Schumer.
She's on the Dream.
Oh yeah, because Amy Schumer was the was the host.
That's so random. That's a random array of characters. It was funny.
It was fun. It was entertaining. Okay. It wasn't like, ha, ha, ha. It was more like, okay, this is one of the better skits that they kind of put together.
She, what I will say is they went through an entire, she went through an entire reel of her, I don't want to say highlights of her career, but some of the most, talked about things in her career.
Yeah, I think it was a good, summary
tape.
of everything.
There was
her divorce.
There was the multiple men marrying. There's my mom is an evil manager.
Yeah.
The plastic surgery.
Her sister is trying to look like her.
Her sister's trying to look like her.
Which is my favorite joke of it.
But I was like, okay, it's very interesting the talking points that you're avoiding.
Oh, so you tweeted about this, and you're like, it's not about the jokes you're saying, it's about the jokes you're not saying.
It's about the jokes she's not saying.
And what jokes were you think were missing?
Talking points like blackfishing, cultural appropriating, stealing from black women. She could have made those jokes too, but I didn't know how that reads.
Know she's like, no.
Because those are, I would argue, just as big talking points, if not bigger.
But what's the punchline?
There's a lot of punchlines.
But the punchline where she walks away unscathed?
There's none.
There's no.
That's why they didn't do it.
That's why you can't do it.
That's why they didn't do it. The other one's self-deprecating for sure.
And
she couldn't say, "I steal from black women because I'm inadequate," because then that's an admission of guilt.
That's an admission of guilt, and you walk away very scathed.
All the other stuff is like, we know you're guilty.
Yeah, it's fine.
Those things.
That's a good point. That's a very, very good. That's a very, very good point.
Because this is for me what Logan Paul did with his boxing thing.
Accurate.
I'm gonna get my ass kicked. Now I'm gonna change my character while getting my ass kicked, and this is my redemption.
Suddenly, my rollout.
Everybody loves me again. Even more people respect me now than before. The people who used to hate me kind of gained a little bit more respect for me.
So even suddenly, I'm in a different context altogether. No, that's a very good point.
Kim K came out there. Give me all the shots, baby.
And she gets to do all of that. Plus, gets to be on the show
while wearing a vest
and avoid. Accurate. But
the vest of privilege.
And the best part is she gets to do it without doing like the roast, like how everybody else used to try to rehab their career.
Because that could have went left.
Oh, and
you can't completely control that.
Of course not.
Yeah. This is a controlled environment. She's doing the jokes. She's telling them.
Who would you like to see as a host on SNL?
I would like to see a lot more hip hop people.
I agree. You know what I love to see? Freddie Gibbs.
Freddie Gibbs
needs to be on SNL. No, it doesn't need to be. I mean, fuck SNL. But
Action Bronson would be great.
Action Bronson's so weird, though. I like Action Bronson. Like, I like his
weird
YouTube.
To you?
Have you seen him talk to people?
Yeah.
He was talking to people, and they were like, hey, all right, Action. You'd be like, this nigga's nuts.
Wow.
He strikes me as a guy who's maybe always a little too high.
He's losing a lot of weight, man.
I'm in. I don't know. Do you watch Fuck That's Delicious? Like his
seen
new revamp. Now it's just him, Cece Sabathia trained together. Cece Sabathia lost a whole bunch of weight.
Yeah.
And it's just him cooking cool food and hanging out with trainers. It's very great. I'm a big fan of the Action Bronson.
Wow. I want to check out his page to see if he'd
be a great addition.
He would be great. I think he's really funny. Wow, man, he's lost a lot of weight.
A lot of weight.
And he's jacked.
A lot of weight.
Good for him. Good for him.
Big fan of the action bronze.
Big foodie, that guy.
Big
Probably
foodie.
watched Burnt.
Probably making fun of it. Look at this Bradley Cooper looking ass motherfucker.
Last but not least, that Robin Williams clip that was rolling
so
through.
Good.
God damn.
I don't know if I'm emotionally prepared for a biopic.
I'm gonna be a mess, bro. I could tell just off that clip alone.
Puddle.
Like, that guy embodied his mannerisms, his voice.
The voice.
His acting. Everything was just so perfect. I'm like, you were born to do this.
You know when they say you lose who the actor is in the performance? He's looking in the mirror, and when he turns around and he does like the Robin Williams gravelly voice, I was like, oh, this is Robin Williams.
When she said John Belushi died last night, and he goes, what? And doesn't move his mouth. His mouth doesn't move, and he's talking. I'm like, that's Robin. There he is. It was so good, in fact, that his family
was like, you can stop sending it to us.
Please don't send me this clip anymore.
No more, please. You know how good that is? You know how fucking good you don't have to be?
If they pick someone else, I'll be actually livid.
No, it'd be disgusting.
Because, bro, when I say he captured the high points of Robin and the low, whoever wrote up that screen test was so good.
In the same frame.
Dog, but those, what was it, 2 minutes and 20 seconds? Whoever wrote up that, for that to be the screen test is genius. Because you get both the parts of Robin that you love at their extremes. Of course. Right? Mork and Mindy, he's bouncing off the walls. Bouncing off the walls, obviously. It's like a one-man show. And then you have the news, which I did not know that Robin Williams was with John Belushi the night before. This is the thing about Robin Williams. He's a very private guy.
Yeah, super.
So whatever movie that comes out about him, with the family's permission, is going to unleash a lot of stories that are going to be like, what? Yeah. Like, they're going to blow our minds.
And when you talk to comedians and they talk about Robin Williams, they always talk about how fast and how interesting his life was, how fast he came and went through people's lives.
Yep.
And I guess like the quietness, like everybody has an interesting Robin Williams story, and it's kind of nice to see.
Yeah, it was
I'd be interested to see
almost
if the
too
biopic
good
comes
to
out.
see.
Yeah, it was too good. But I'd be interested to see if it comes out and how they work with
He's one of those guys that have like timeless talent. There's only a couple guys I can say that have timeless talent. Put them in any era, they'll be fine. Jim Carrey, Robin Williams,
for sure.
Eddie Murphy,
for sure.
I can't even. I don't know. There's only
I think
so many people. That might be it.
That might be it. That might be it.
Jamie Foxx.
And that's it, folks.
Thank you so much for joining. This guy's such a fucking hater, man.
Hold on, before you go on, somebody tweeted today, and you quote tweeted them. They said, "Who's facing Denzel in a versus?" And you said DiCaprio, De Niro, Pacino. And then he said somebody else that I didn't really agree with. Sam Jack. Maybe not Sam Jack. But Sam
Jack's got so much variety.
Good catalog, but I could see it. But then somebody in your thing said Jamie Foxx, and I was like, that's enough. I said, I've had enough of this.
We're going to report this thread. Thank you guys so much for tuning in another week to the Concession Stand. I'm Marlon.
I've been Gabe.
Peace.
Deuces.